Alright guys, today we're going to do a gear video. This is going to be basically what you need to hunt on public land. We're going to do it in 3 different sections. We're going to do level 1, level 2, and level 3. Basically level 1 is going to be, you don't even know if you like deer hunting, it's your first time. The bare minimum essentials of what you need to actually go deer hunt, that's going to be level 1. Level 2 is going to be things that I would recommend that anybody that deer hunts get. If you're going to spend any amount of time out there, these are things I'm definitely going to recommend, and most of them aren't expensive. Level 3 is going to be if you're serious. If you spend a lot of time out there, you're willing to spend money, because if you want to get serious about it, it's going to take some money. Level 3 is going to be the bigger items that I would wait to get until you are for sure that you're going to spend a lot of time out there. But basically, we're going to run through it, and I'll show you guys what you're going to need. Okay, so first we're going to go over level 1. This is going to be the bare minimum basic essentials of what you're going to have to get into the woods and hunt public land. We're going to start off with basically a weapon. You're going to need some sort of weapon, and if it was me, and you're not sure if you want to really get into deer hunting, I would recommend a rifle. This is a Savage Axis 308. This was $229 before tax. It's about as cheap as you're going to find one that's new, at least. I did another review about it, or I did a review about it in another video. If you want to go see that, you can go check that out. But like I said, it's $229, very reasonably priced, and it'll get you into the woods. It comes with a scope, everything you need. It'll definitely kill a deer, and like I said, it's going to be probably the most cost-effective way to get you into hunting public land. Next thing we're going to say is I'm going to have to bring up the orange hat. Okay, you don't have to have a hat, but you're going to need, in Alabama at least, to hunt public land. Most places, I believe it's 144 square inches of hunter orange. So you're going to need some sort of hunter orange, at least to hunt public land in Alabama, that is, and in most other states, I'm pretty sure. Another level 1 item, let's see, I would say a flashlight. You're going to need some sort of flashlight, may it be big or small, and I would probably get one that's not just the one on your cell phone. So any type of flashlight. You're going to also need a knife. I would recommend a decent knife, even if you're just starting out. It doesn't have to be expensive. The right $20 knife will do you just fine. This is a knife I got in like a monthly box. It's the one that I use most of the time, and it's the kind that has disposable blades. They're a little bit more expensive. I think this retails for like $60, but you can get a knife like this, which is just a regular buck knife, and as long as you keep it sharp, it'll do everything you need it to do, and I believe this knife is probably around $20. So you're going to need a knife of some sort if you actually kill a deer, and it's just nice to have a knife on you in the woods. Another thing that I would recommend for you're going to have a pair of shoes, and I would recommend boots. You can go ahead and pan over there if you want to. We can walk over here, I guess. I'll hold them up. You're going to need a pair of boots, and it doesn't matter what kind of boots you get. Bring them back over here. How's that? It doesn't matter what kind of pair of boots you get. These are muck boots. I believe you can buy these normally for about $20, and I think these were a little bit more expensive. They were probably like $60 or $80. Got them from Academy. The only difference between these 2 pair of boots is these won't keep your feet warm at all, and these keep your feet warm barely. So get a pair of boots. You're going to probably need them, especially if you're walking around on public land. I would definitely recommend it. One thing you're also going to have that I guess you don't need it, but I would definitely still put it in the level 1, is some type of camouflage. And if you're just starting out, you don't have to go invest $1,000 in one camouflage suit. You know, that's not necessary. If you have the money, more power to you. But you can go to Walmart and get one pair of camouflage pants and one camouflage long sleeve t-shirt that's oversized. And if it's cold outside, you could just put this on over your jacket and other things that's actually keeping you warm, and you're still camoed out for like $20. So it's not gonna, to get into the woods to hunt public land, it's not gonna cost $1 million. If you do it right, you should be able to get into the woods with, I would say, probably $400 or $500, maybe less. That's licenses and everything. So that's basic level 1, and in a second we'll move on to level 2. Okay, so now we're at level 2. Level 2 is going to be, you started hunting, and you've decided you like it. You spend a little bit more time out there. It's going to be for the person that they're starting to enjoy deer hunting, and they're starting to get out there. These are things that you don't have to have, but are high recommendations, and most of these items aren't expensive either. Most of the expensive items are going to be on the level 3 tier. So we're going to start off by saying I would recommend, if you're going to be out there a lot, you're going to need a couple things that are survival item orientated. So it's going to be like, there is a chance when you're hunting public land that you could get lost. Some of these pieces of land are really big. In Alabama, the one that I hunt, the biggest one that I hunt, I believe is, I think it's, what is it, 90,000 acres? The whole thing is 200,000 acres, but the wildlife management area itself is 90,000 acres, but it's on a national forest that is 200,000 acres, so it's pretty big. And you could get lost there. People get lost up there every summer. It happens. So you're going to want a couple survival items, such as something to start a fire with. Okay, I always bring a Bic lighter. They're always good to have. They basically never mess up. They can get wet. You can dry them off and they'll still work. And then I like to have some other type of fire starter, whether it be a flint striker, something like this, which is like a Zippo product where it's basically just a little emergency fire starter. I think these are actually like windproof, waterproof matches or whatever. Something to start a fire with is going to be highly recommended. I like to keep a multi-tool with me. This is just a cheap $5 multi-tool, just in case. It does a lot of things. I've used it for a lot of different reasons, whether it be repairing something or, I mean, there's a lot of different reasons why you could use that. I usually, when I go into the woods, I'm going to have a backpack on me. We'll get to those in a second. But I keep a lot of things in that backpack. I usually take all 4 of these knives with me because the multi-tool has a knife on it as well, so I consider it to be a knife. I usually have a small pocket knife, a buck knife, you know, the disposable blade knife, and a multi-tool. You probably don't need 4, but like I said, you could get lost, things could happen. I doubt I'm going to be out there, get lost for a month or anything. I hope that doesn't happen. I doubt it would. You know, these aren't million-acre tracts of land. This isn't like, you know, Montana or Alaska or something. So I'm probably not going to get lost for a month, but it just helps me, makes me feel a little bit more comfortable knowing that if I break a knife or whatever, I'll have a replacement. I can still get what I need to, you know, I can still get things done. So we're going to move on. There's a couple more survival items I recommend getting. Something like a life straw. In Alabama, this is really nice to have because there's a creek every couple of 100 yards, basically, it seems. So finding water isn't necessarily a problem, but finding clean water that you know isn't going to hurt you could be an issue. These are like $20. I would definitely recommend picking one up and having your backpack, as well as some water. But if you run out of water, I've used that life straw several times, not because I was lost, but because I had ran out of water or whatever. There happened to be a stream nearby and I was thirsty, so I've used the life straw several times. It's honestly a pretty good item to have. Is there any other survival items? I would consider this probably to be a survival item, honestly. This is just a rechargeable battery. And you can plug your phone into it or plug basically anything into it. And in today's times, your phone is probably going to be one of your best survival tools. It will help you not get lost 95% of the time. The GPS on most phones today is very accurate. If you use a something like Onyx or something like that. Most of the time, even when you don't have service, you still have GPS. Not all the time, but most of the time. So having something to make sure your phone is charged is going to be very important as well. And I think that's probably all the items I would consider to be survival items. But other things you're going to need: a backpack. I have 2 different backpacks that I take with me. And the reason why is usually early season, I don't need as many items with me. I'm packing pretty light. And on days that I pack light, I take this backpack. It's very small and very light. I can fit everything I need in it. It's camouflage, it's quiet, it's very good. I enjoy this backpack. I prefer carrying this backpack. But the reason why I have this big backpack is because late season, when the temperatures are going from 50 degrees in the afternoon, but it's 17 degrees in the morning, you're going to need extra layers of clothes, and usually it's going to be hard to fit a pair of coveralls or a big puffy jacket or something like that in this small backpack. So that's the main reason why I have this big backpack. You could also use this to pack out meat if you needed to. You know, you could fit a lot of meat in this backpack if you had to, especially if you deboned it. You could fit an awful lot in there. So you're definitely going to want a backpack to carry all your stuff. And I would recommend probably getting a big one and a small one. They're not expensive. I think this backpack was $25 from Walmart. This one was probably around the same price. So get you a backpack. Other things to go in the backpack: I would say a trail camera. This is a Tasco trail camera. I actually plan on doing a review on this soon, maybe today. Just to basically, this is the cheapest trail camera you're going to be able to find. I think it's $28 normally from Walmart, and it does a great job. I've used several of them, and they seem to hold up pretty well. I've heard a lot of good things on them. I've used them for a long time. I really enjoy using those. Another thing you're probably going to want to get is some type of deer call. If you were just going to get one, I would recommend this. This is the extinguisher, and this does basically everything you need it to do. You can do fawn calls, doe calls, buck calls, basically anything with it. It sounds very realistic. It's loud but not too loud. I actually lost the tube on mine, and I went to Lowe's and just got a different piece of flexible rubber tubing and put on it, and it sounds fine. So definitely get a deer call. They make several different kinds. Like I said, the extinguisher is probably my favorite, but other calls you can get is something like the can. This is very cheap and super easy to use. You put your finger on it and flip it over. It's that simple. You know, you don't have to really know how to call a deer to be able to use a call like that. It's very easy. This is another call I got. It's a Primos call. It's really loud. That's the only perk really to that one. This is a small one my buddy bought this year just to try it out, just because it was so small. You know, you could put it in your pocket or just hold it in your mouth if you were bow hunting. But he didn't really seem to like it too much, but it's okay. And this is a mature doe call I got for free, basically in a monthly box. But you're going to want some type of deer call. They make 100 different kinds. Get yourself one and put it in your backpack. I like to have a couple different kinds for certain various reasons. The can call's really quiet if I think a deer's close, or if they're rutting, the can call does a good job. Another call I like to have in my backpack is some type of predator call. Not necessary for deer hunting whatsoever, but if you spend a lot of times in the deer woods, you're going to come across certain opportunities to where you can kill something that's not a deer if you wanted to, like a coyote or a bobcat or something like that. So I would definitely recommend getting some type of other call as well. Okay, another thing you're probably going to need is some rope. It's going to be real nice to have. This is just some loose rope I have. It comes in handy for a lot of different reasons, and it also goes back to that survival aspect of it. I use it to drag deer out. I use it to tie them on the game cart. I use it for all types of stuff. I've used it to fix my backpack. I've used it to make a lanyard. I've used it for everything, and it's good to have. That's one thing I'd recommend having in your backpack, or at least your vehicle, is some type of rope. I'm going to bring up the flagging tape. Flagging tape is good to have, but there's several different ways to use it. You don't want to just go mark a trail through the woods and leave your flagging tape there. Nobody likes that guy. That's not cool. The reason why I have this in here is it goes back kind of to that survival aspect. If I'm ever by myself, especially, and I shoot a deer or something like that, and I know where I'm at, but the deer ran off to somewhere I don't know. I don't know where it is. I've never been. This comes in handy for me being able to get back to where I was. if my phone's dead or whatever happens, this is a surefire way that you can find your way back to wherever you were. No, it never fails. That's why I always have it in my backpack. This doesn't run out of battery or anything like that. It's only $2 or $3. It's light. I can throw it in my backpack and never think about it. And it's really good to have. And it has several uses. Not only that use, another good use it has is you can tie it around a deer after you shoot it. If you're carrying it out, or just to signify to another hunter that maybe come across it because you're on public land, that this deer, you know, you found it, it's your deer, you know, and you're obviously coming back to get it. It's got flagging tape around the antlers or whatever. Or like I said, if you're carrying it out, you're packing it out, and you've got the antlers on your back or something, it would probably be a good idea on public land to put some flagging tape around it so that anybody who looks at it can tell that it's obviously not a deer, even though that there's a rack there, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure it has several other different uses that I'm forgetting about right now. Oh, another one. It's good for blood trailing. If you're blood trailing and every time you find a spot of blood, mark it with this tape. It will help you so much when you can stand back and look through the woods and see exactly how this deer came. It will help you out a lot in being able to find your deer. It's really crucial in blood tracking, especially if you don't have a dog or anything like that. But just make sure that anytime you use it, that when you're on your way back and you're using your trail, just pick it up and put it in your backpack. You can rip it down off the tree. It's super easy. So that's good to have. Shooting sticks. They make several different kinds. Primos, I think, make some really cool ones with a trigger where they drop down to the ground. I actually plan on getting some. They have a single stick version like this right here. It's just telescopic. It extends, and you can put your gun in this little V here. It's going to make you a lot more steady of a person. I mean, I don't care who you are and how steady your nerves are. This is going to make you steadier than if you didn't have it. I kind of didn't like it. I didn't hunt with one for about two or 3 years. I hunted with this one this season. I'm in love with it. I'm not gonna lie, it's awesome. It makes you rock dead steady. It is perfect. I like the one with 2 sticks. They're both telescopic as well, so if you were sitting down in a chair or something like that, this thing swivels. It's just very nice to have. These things are awesome, and they're not that expensive. You could probably pick up a set of these for $20 or $30. And like I said, if the buck of a lifetime comes in, it's really nice to know that you're not going to shake and miss it. It's really crucial to have. Another level 2 item I would recommend is probably going to be some type of binoculars. As you can see, these are from like the 80s. I can't even remember where I got them. They're honestly pretty good binoculars though. We have a couple pair. Usually when we go, cameraman back here, Dustin, he's got a nice pair of Leopold binoculars. Those are going to be a lot more expensive, but you could, if you're just kind of level 2 in it, you think you like it, you can pick up a pair of binoculars for $20 from Walmart or anywhere else. They're going to help you more than having nothing. Binoculars is honestly a really nice thing to have. I would definitely recommend them. We're going to talk a little bit about scents. Not necessary, but I like to have a little bit of some type of scent killer. I smoke cigarettes, so having some scent killer around, I mean, it makes me feel at least a little bit better that maybe I can dull the smell down a little bit. This is some acorn cover scent. We just put it on, honestly, as like a good luck thing for fun. We've had good luck every time we put it on. So that's why we put it on. It smells good. It's supposed to smell like acorns. It just kind of smells like a piney kind of scent, honestly, to me. But some type of cover scent's not bad. And some type of other scent. This is like a powdered, I believe it's like a scrape fix scent is what it's called. It's just like a doe and heat scent, basically. And this is good for a couple reasons. We don't use it a lot of times when we hunt, but we do use it a lot of times when we place trail cameras. You can make a mock scrape with this really good. Things like that. And deer will use it. So some type of scents are good. And that's another thing that you can pick up that's pretty cheap. I mean, you can get a bottle of doe and estrus, you know, pee for $10 or less. Normally, let's see, if you're level 2 in it, you're going to be out there a while. Another thing you're probably going to need is, it's probably going to be inclement weather. And that's some of the best times to hunt, hands down. The deer, they just seem to feel a lot more safe in any type of inclement weather. So if it's even just foggy, drizzly, rainy, snowy, anything like that, it seems like they move a lot more, especially during the rain. So if you're going to be out there, you're probably going to want some type of rain gear. The cheap way I go about it is these frog togs. You can pick these up from Walmart. They're like $20 or $30. This is just a jacket, just a waterproof jacket. It doesn't have any insulation or anything. It's about $30. And to go with that, I would recommend getting a cheap pair of waders. These are just thin waders. They don't have any protection from, like, they're not good probably for duck hunting. They don't have insulation or anything. But if you're hunting public land, you're gonna, especially in Alabama at least, you're gonna come across a lot of different creeks, marshy areas, things like that. These are gonna come in handy for a lot of different reasons. And if you wear these and you also have on those frog togs, if you have an upper and a lower layer that's waterproof, you're waterproof. You can sit out in the rain all day and it's not gonna bother you, as long as you have on the proper clothes under that. I like to have, when it gets real cold out, this is a hand warmer. It does honestly a couple things. It's a hand warmer, it's a little flashlight, and I can charge my phone from it if need be. These honestly are a lot of help. This or some type of hand warmer like the Hot Hands or something like that really comes into handy when your feet feel like they're going to literally freeze off because you haven't moved in 12 hours and it's like 10 degrees outside. So something like this is really good to have. It'll make you stay out there longer. It doesn't seem like it's a big deal, but man, just having anything that's warm that can warm your hands up will really make you feel a lot better when you're out there for a long period of time. I think that's basically about everything for level 2. So we'll move on to level 3. Okay, so now we're at level 3. Level 3 is going to be someone who is very serious about deer hunting. They're willing to spend a lot of time and a lot of their money into going. This isn't like a fling. It's going to be something that is you're taking very seriously. It's like a passion or a very serious hobby for you. Most of these items are going to cost a little bit more expensive, but they're going to be worth it in the long run. They're all going to help you out a lot. I'm going to start off with other weapons. So that's going to be something like a compound bow, a crossbow if you're not comfortable with a compound bow, and a muzzle loader. This is a crossbow that I got from Walmart. It's what is it? It's Jackal something. I can't even remember. It's a cheap crossbow. It doesn't matter. This is like the cheapest crossbow I could find at Walmart at the time. I think it was like $200. And the only reason I bought it is because I enjoyed deer hunting. I knew that, but I didn't have any type of bow. And if you, on public land in Alabama, even not public land, if you have a bow, you have a lot more chances that you can go hunt. It's going to open up to you a lot more days to hunt. I believe our season normally starts like October 15th for bow hunting, but you can't rifle hunt until November 21st. So there's a whole month there, more than a month, where you can hunt and kill deer if you have a bow. That's the reason why I would recommend. And not, all the states are different. You're going to have to check your local states. But in Alabama, a crossbow is the same thing as a compound bow. So you can use them anytime during bow season. This is just a compound bow that my friend actually, they basically let me use. I fixed it up a little bit, so now I have a bow. I've never shot a deer with it. I've shot at a deer with it one time. But the good thing about it is it opens up your chances to be able to go. It opens up a lot of more opportunities. And even after rifle season starts, on public land in Alabama, especially like WMAs, things like that, wildlife management areas, you can hunt with a bow like every day. But you can only hunt with a rifle certain days. It'll say from like the 28th through the 30th, you know, you can hunt with a rifle and kill a buck. But with a bow, you can, a lot of times, kill a doe or a buck the whole season, except for certain WMAs. I think they recently changed it to where on like Black Warrior you can't hunt with a bow on rifle days, but it's going to open up to you so many more days to hunt. It's going to make your season twice as long. That's the reason why I would recommend getting one. It's a lot more challenging, for sure, to say the least. But with that being said, if you're going to spend a lot of time out there and you really want to, if you really care about deer hunting, that's something that's really going to help out, help give you more opportunities to go hunt. If you're going to get a bow, another item I would recommend is going to be some sort of rangefinder. This isn't just necessary for a bow. It really makes bow hunting a lot easier, for sure. You don't have to have it, I guess. But if you're going to spend any amount of time with a bow, you're going to want a rangefinder. And you can also use this for rifle hunting and other things like that. It actually comes in handy for a lot of reasons. But if you're going to bow hunt, one thing I would definitely recommend is some sort of rangefinder. This one was cheap. I think it's a Simmons. I think it was like $80. It's not that expensive. It's very well worth it. It's very well worth it. It's sometimes, especially if you're nervous, it's hard to judge distances. It's very hard to judge the distances. And with a bow, that really matters. 5 yards matters a lot. So I would definitely recommend getting something like that. And also, if you're real serious about it, you could get a muzzle loader. I believe this is a CVA Wolf. It's actually not mine, it's my buddy's, but it's a 50 caliber muzzle loader. And I don't know how it works in most states, but in Alabama, with this you will be the first person in the woods with basically a rifle with the chance to kill a deer. I believe you have 5 extra days before rifle season. So our season starts on like the 21st. I think on like, what is it, the 15th or something like that, muzzleloader season opens. So for 5 days, you will be the first person in the woods with, you know, something that can reach out to 100 yards easily if you get a muzzleloader. And they're not that expensive. I think Walmart sells them for less than $200, brand new, I believe. I could be mistaken on that, but they're not that expensive. And it's only 5 days, but, you know, records are taken with a gun like this. You know what I'm saying? Because you're the first person in there with a rifle. So it's going to increase your chances, at least for those 5 days, you know, drastically. So another thing I'm going to talk about is a tree stand. I'll go get it over here. Guess I'll pull it into view here. Can they see that? You want to pick it up? Okay, hold on. First, before I even talk about the tree stand, in Alabama, and on probably, if I had to guess, most public lands, if you get off the ground at all, if you are elevated in any type of tree stand, you have to have a harness. This is just a basic harness that came with one of the tree stands I bought. Any type of harness will do. You legally are required to wear this though anytime you use a tree stand on public land in Alabama. So this is something that you're going to have. Most tree stands come with them, some don't, so if yours doesn't, you have to get one. I'll pick this up. This is a Summit Viper. We also did a review of this in another video if you want to go check that out. This is just a regular climbing stand. On public land in Alabama at least, you're not supposed to cut limbs and things like that, and you're not supposed to have any permanent stands in the woods. So something like this where you can climb up with it, climb it down and take it off, perfectly legal, and it's going to help you out a lot in a lot of different situations, especially if you're bow hunting. This isn't super crucial for rifle hunting. You can definitely get away with it, muzzleloader hunting as well, but as soon as you get into the bow game, it's going to help you out a lot, tremendously. I would definitely recommend it. They're kind of expensive. I think that one was like $260, if I'm not mistaken. But it's very well worth it. They make a lot of different kinds. And in Alabama, you can even use a ladder stand, but it can't be permanent. I don't even think you're actually supposed to leave it like through the seasons. I think you're supposed to take it out at the end of the season. So it's a lot more complicated to use. I would recommend some type of climbing stand, or today they make tree saddles and things like that. That's something that's going to help you out a lot. The final thing I'm probably going to talk about is going to be, well, before I do that, I'll run down clothes one more time. If you're serious about deer hunting for real, you're going to have to spend a little bit more money on clothes. You're going to be out there a long time, and you're going to need a lot of things, especially even just in Alabama. I know Alabama isn't the coldest place, but you're going to need several different layers. Probably several, a couple different pair of boots for certain situations, things like that. You're going to need more clothes. I would recommend getting like a pair of coveralls. They're lifesavers, things like that. Coveralls aren't cheap. I mean, they're $100 and up, basically. They're not very cheap. But with that being said, man, they will save the day. They will make everything so much easier. You're going to have to spend a little bit more money on some of your clothes. But we're going to do a separate video later on just clothes and everything that you need. But the last thing I want to talk about, I'll roll it over here, is this. And on public land in Alabama, this will be a good friend of yours. This is a game cart. I believe this cost me about $80 if I'm not mistaken. But in Alabama on public land, you're not supposed to drive your four-wheeler back to where your deer is, okay? Most of the trails say no motorized vehicles, so you're not allowed to have anything like that. They want you to drag your deer out by hand. And something like a game cart will make that so much easier. I'm going to have trouble saying this. Something like a game cart will make that so much easier. my life completely changed when we got that game cart. It is a game changer completely. The only issue is carrying a deer uphill with it. I wouldn't recommend that. It's literally easier if you just pick the whole cart up. But when you're a mile or farther back in somewhere in public land and you need to drag a big deer out, man, the game cart is awesome. They make a bunch of different kinds. That's something that, man, it'll save your back if anything. It'll make life a lot easier on you. Definitely recommend that. So with that being said, I think we've covered basically everything. So I guess we'll move on to the outro. Okay, basically in conclusion, what I want to say is you don't need $1 million to go deer hunt. It would help, but you don't need it. You can actually do it with very little money. I'm not a rich man. I'm pretty broke, if you can't tell. But you don't need a lot of money to go deer hunting, and you don't even need all the things that I just showed you. You can get out there, like I said, with just a couple $100. It'll get you in the woods and get you started and get you going down the right path. I didn't buy all this stuff at once. Like it was over the course of several seasons, and there are several more purchases I would like to make. I just can't afford yet. So with that being said, you don't need a lot of money to deer hunt. I want to stress that. I want to stress that 110%. You can actually do it very cheap. In almost in every state in America, there is public land that you can hunt. In Alabama, there's quite a bit. And all that land is free as long as you have a permit. As long as you have the hunting license, then all that's your land. So you can go. You can make it as expensive as you want to make it. It doesn't have to be though. To get started, it could be very cheap. You know, I would recommend, if you're not sure about deer hunting completely, get the small couple things that I recommended in level 1 and go try it out, because I'm telling you, it's a fun time. You'll probably get addicted to it like I did, and you'll probably end up moving on to the level 2 and level 3 type things. So, you know, this is what you need, bare minimum. Another thing I want to say is there's a million more products out there. There's a million types of just scents. You know, there's a million different types of knives that range from $4 to $4,000. Okay, you can get same thing with guns. Okay, I bought this one for $229, but a lot of people hunt with deer rifles that cost well over $1,000. Their scope may cost $1,000. You know, and that's cool. That's awesome. All that stuff will help you out, but it's not necessary. You can get into the woods with just these bare minimum items, and I encourage you, if you're not, to go do so. And if anything, if I missed anything that you guys think that should have been on the list, definitely comment and tell me what I missed, because I'll probably go get it. You know, if you think it is a essential item, because that's what these things are. Like I said, you don't need most of this, or you don't, you know, most of these things are very basic. They're going to be things that, you know, I would recommend basically to anybody to go get. So if I missed something, tell me, because I probably need to go get it. You know, I try to run with the bare essentials because, well, that's what I can afford. So tell me if I missed anything. Like and subscribe if you like the video, and you know, tell me what you think.